welcome to another episode of Watch Once Over. My name is Big E. Today we're going to be looking at my Citizens Pilot Watch. Um, I'll put all the specs above this model right over here on the left while I talk about it a little bit. I'm just going to call this my Citizens Pilot Watch. There's no cool name for this as far as I know. It's a shame. I wish Citizen gave some of their models cool names or something, and but it's a cool watch. So let's just get right down to it. This is one of my favorite pilot watches. I only have two pilot watches, and they're both Citizens, and they're both atomic watches. Atomic watches are cool because they use here in United States, they use a atomic signal from Colorado to update the watch at least once a day, and you can force it to update. It'll pick up the radio control signal, and it'll calibrate and adjust everything to the time zone that you're in, so the watch will always keep perfect time. Um, Without the radio signal, it's probably a pretty accurate watch because it's quartz, but with the radio signal, these watches are, deadly accurate. They're just as accurate as your cell phone. You look down at them, it's most likely going to be the correct time, unless you adjusted something in there, um, and the watch is no longer keeping the time right. But if it's receiving the signal, you should just be about okay. Now, this model right here is made of super titanium. It's also sapphire. I'll show you that. So it has a sapphire crystal and it's anti-reflective coating on the inside. That's a good thing. Another thing is the rotatable rehull is also on the inside, and I really like that too. See, you have a rotate right here. This watch is 200 meters water resistance, but the cool thing about these pilot watches are that they have a scale in here, and it's basically a slide rule. Now the red markers are this one has north, south, east, west, so you can use it as a compass. You can use it to measure how much fuel you got left in the flight, and a host of other things. You'd have to look up how to do that. It's an all-day process just learning how to use the slide rule on this watch. But nonetheless, it's a very cool watch. Now, getting under the sapphire crystal, you have the rehold, and you have the slide rule. And then if you go down further, you have all these beautifully applied markers, and you get like a stadium style effect. And underneath all that, it's a solar panel. And I'm trying to get a shot of the solar panel. You can see the solar cell. Maybe I have to move up some. Okay, right there, that is the solar cell. Under the Citizen printing and the radio controlled titanium, that's a solar cell. That's what picks up the sunlight or artificial light and charges the internal battery. All you have to do with this watch is have a light source, and it'll stay sufficiently charged, and you don't have to worry about the watch. It's also equipped with a perpetual calendar, so the day will always be correct. You don't have to worry about that. You get three crowns, two crowns and a push button and an inner push button. This button right here is to reset the hands and the alignment. And this is the main crown, and that has the ProMaster logo on there. And then you have a button to set up the GPS signal. So it's a really simplified watch. You get a lovely bracelet, which is brushed with some polished elements in the middle. You get a rather pedestrian clasp, three anchoring points. You get a titanium. You get all titanium. See, is it upside down? There you go. That clasp is all titanium. This bracelet is all titanium. And titanium is good if you're allergic to nickel. You don't have to worry about breaking out if you wear this watch because it is very hypoallergenic. Now I'll pull the measurements off of here real quick. The dial is going to be, it's going to be about a 45, and then the thickness, it's not that thick. It's only about 12 millimeters thick. And then the lug, is going to be about a 48. So the watch is going to, even though it's a bigger watch, with the watch being super titanium, it's going to make it really light, and that scant lug to lug is going to make it fit really well. I'll put it on the scale, and we'll see what it says. $108 grams. So that is pretty light. That is pretty light for a watch. 108 grams. That's pretty light for a watch. I like the case, the way it's cut on the side. It's angular. You also get some polish elements on the bezel. Not that much polishing. You just have this polished edge right here, polishing down the center of the bracelet. Then you get a polished logo and some alternating polish on the crown. So it's a really tooly watch, and I kind of like it like that. And I'll try it on. My wrist is 7.25 inches. Let me try this on right here, and you'll see what it looks like. My wrist size is really in the sweet spot because I could wear smaller or larger watches. But this watch, I could say you can go all the way down to a 6-inch wrist because of the lightweight and the nature of the titanium. So this is a great watch. So I suggest if you're looking for a pilot watch and you're serious about a pilot watch, look into these Citizens. They're really, really good. And they also have really good lume. I'll charge it up with my black light, and I'll show you what the lume shot is before we go. This is what you get at night, and it does last all night. So tell me what you think about this one. That's the watch once over for today. My name is Big E, and I'll talk to you guys later. God bless.